Hi folks, CodeTutor here and my name is Anil Deshpande. So just to give you a quick recap, in the previous videos we created a package called as DI, and under that we created app module, which is a Kotlin object. We used the at module annotation to declare the module. Module basically acts as a container to hold multiple dependencies that will be supplied across application. And then to decide the scope of dependencies, you use install in annotation, and then you can use various component options that Hilt provides. Singleton basically ensures that the provided dependencies live throughout the application's lifecycle, making them globally available as singletons. And then we have used provides to declare a function, and then in that function you return whatever the dependency that you want to supply from that particular function. And in all of these dependencies, you can see that we have used provides, but then to supply the dependency of country list service provider, which is an interface, we could not have used provides. That is the reason why I created network module, and in the network module I created abstract function, and that abstract function uses binds. And because it is an abstract function, we have to put it under abstract class. And then we also understood the concept of qualifiers. Network provider is qualifier, that we declared it in the service provider qualifier. The whole idea was country list service provider has two implementations of the interface. One is provider via network and another one is a local JSON based implementation. To differentiate which one we want to use, we use the concept of qualifiers, and we declared our qualifier here. One is local provider and another one is network provider, and then we use that particular network provider as the annotation whenever we are supplying that particular dependency. So in this case, this particular thing is definitely returning the network provider, and here in this case it is returning the local provider. And then we used network provider qualifier along with country list service provider in the provide country repository. The next thing that we want to implement is we have to provide API service and the retrofit object. Right now, if you check repository network, these are implemented here. And these dependencies, I want to make it available as part of network module. To do that, I can put it under either app module, but since these are related to network functionality, I want to put it under network module. But both of these API service and retrofit instances are pure implementations. They are not interfaces like country list service provider, because of which we had to use binds. And if I want to provide these two implementations, then I can't use binds. I have to use provides. But since you can't use it within the abstract class, what I will do is I will create a companion object within this particular abstract class, so that then I can create a provide under that. Other possibilities, I could have created a separate module itself and then could have used provides there, but then I want to keep all the code related to network at one single place. This is just a design decision that I am taking. So what I will do is companion object. Under the companion object, I will use provides and then singleton and then function provide API service, and that returns API service. That is one part. And then I can write another provides, another singleton, and then function provide retrofit. Return this. Then there is no need for this retrofit instance under the network module, so I can basically get rid of it. We will do the removal of the code later. I think we have forgotten one more part, which is ViewModel. That is country operation ViewModel and country UI ViewModel. These also will have to be annotated appropriately so that Hilt knows how to supply the ViewModel dependencies. For that, we use a annotation called as Hilt ViewModel. The same thing we need to do with country operation view model, that is Hilt view model. So we are basically done with the giving the definition of dependencies. Now it is time to start injecting the dependencies in our application. Let me stop here. We shall see how to do that in the next video. Brings us to the end of this particular video. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video and subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye.